I watched one episode of Chris Angel Mind Freak.
I'm sorry. Which one did you
That show used
watch?
to slap.
None of it actually
No,
slapped.
I have all seasons on DVD.
Go back and watch them. In my opinion,
No, they're terrible.
Yeah,
they're fucking awful.
Why the fuck would you own that?
Because I for 11 years I did card magic, and everybody in my family was like, I heard you like magic. Here's a DVD of Chris Angel. The other one was the shitty like 30-in-1 magic kits.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have about 15 of those like sealed because I've never opened them. They're probably worth money at this point.
I had one of those.
30-in-1 magic kit?
Yeah, they were all terrible. And
Yes,
like
they
half
were.
the tricks were just the same trick over and over again.
It had like the cardboard rectangle box and it had like a doll that came with it with little swords you push through it. At least the one I did have.
Yeah, I got the one that you put the arm in and you like move the box, like the box rotates around it, and then the arm looks like it's supposed to be like going around. It's fucking terrible. It's awful.
Yeah. Yep.
And eBay's not showing anything. Oh, here's Magic Secret Layers.
Yo.
Oh, here we go. Chris Angel, 30-in-1, $50 or best offer, $18.70 shipping.
Dude, that's cheaper than what it was retail.
I
mean, then again, my dad, before I ever played a competitive card game, my dad bought me Magic the Gathering sleeves because he's seen Magic in card sleeves.
Oh.
And thought that they were meant for card Magic. And I still have them somewhere, and one day I will actually get use for them.
There's only one episode of Chris Angel I actually watched. Actually, there was two, unless it was the same episode. There was the one where he put his arm through someone. Worst thing ever. Worst camera angles. Because like you obviously see his arm wrapped around the person. And yeah, I was like, that's garbage. And the other one was he either split himself in half in a park or something like that, but it was really bad VFX because like you could see the like them trying to patch over it with the editing, and it just looked like garbage. I was like, this looks really bad.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. I think it might be. I remember the episode I remember most vividly is the psychic surgery episode. Like psychic surgery is like one of the coolest magic effects when it's done well, but in that it just looks like he was playing with red Cheerios. It was fucking awful.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack on Productions. Today, bankrupt once again by Jake, Jimmy, and Nick.
What's going on, y'all?
Ditto.
I really hope you keep that whole thing about Chris Angel.
Oh yeah, no, I started recording right before that actually.
Yeah, so people know that I cheat in Dragon Ball.
Don't we already knew that? Didn't
No.
we already knew that?
You don't know to the extent that I cheat.
Today we're doing our normal shoot the shit, have some little fun, and talk about what happened this past week or what to expect later on the road. We're gonna go over to expect this week. We have Jimmy and Jake will be on camera. Jake is playing a new take. Well, it's mono yellow, I think. Vegeta and Trunks with some extra new tech to it. Jimmy is taking on Gogeta, but with a more Legends take. It's not exactly his build, but it's inspired by his build.
Yeah, it's the nail in the coffin for me switching over to this build was Legends. I think he got 10th place with it. But I have seen discussions and I have toyed with the idea of the deck for a long time, but Legends was the main inspiration for me actually doing it and bringing it to the shop.
I'm on camera with AOD versus Jason, who is playing the Xeno Son Goku, the one that gains double strike. And then we have SS3 reboot versus Vegeta, I think, if correct. So some fun stuff, and we'll have a profile. And we have a profile of Jimmy's coming out probably later towards the end of the week. And that's it for right now. I do want to at some point do more in-depth conversations on what to expect next set, because we actually haven't touched any of the blue or villainous stuff, so maybe we might do a video or two on that stuff, or just talk about our thoughts. I know both Jimmy and Nick have actually been playing those decks recently, And I know both me and Jimmy are interested in both in the villainous decks as well.
I think blue is the color to beat. Just next set overall, I think Blue Gohan obviously is super aggressive and is going to be a. If it ends up being able to function against the red decks, it's going to be very difficult to contend with as far as like aggression goes. But I think a lot of people are overlooking blue Gotenks as well. I think a lot of the things that make red Gogeta good are present in that deck, albeit in a less potent form. And I think over time, that maybe not immediately upon release, but I think over time that deck might actually end up somewhere.
I think blue has a inherently good matchup with the stronger red decks that is going around right now. Example, Dirty Burst can really control a matchup against red. That being if you see it in every matchup. But red is blue has a strong matchup or a strong matchup against stuff like aggro with defensive Bean. Bean is still a good card. Don't say it's not. Keep running it. It's still good. Maybe not at a 4-of anymore. Maybe sideboard 1 or 2. But blue has a really potent matchup against aggro, and it also has a really good matchup inherently against red. So I think blue right now is kind of the counter pick, and I think it's going to move up to being the pick, and then you're going to be picking stuff to counter blue.
Here's a question real quick, because last time blue tried to be super aggro like this, it got hit with the ban list and errata list, and that was the Xeno Janemba stuff, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that was because they were cheap to play, and then you had things like Senzu Bean just restanding your energy. And obviously, Senzu Bean needed to be hit for Gohan not to feel super broken.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they could probably do adjustments back on the Xeno Janemba stuff without Senzu Bean's offensive pressure?
I think Bewitching Brew should come off the limited list. I think it with Bean gone and faster, more potent blue decks just extant in the game, there's no reason for that card to still be limited. I know there's other stuff you can do with it, like if you're playing skillless engines and things like that. Overall, I don't think it's a potent enough card to warrant being limited.
Now, here's the question.
I think to counter on that, I think the card needs some way to specify a skillless card from the start and not a card that had its skills negated. So that was one of the abusive things that you could do with Bewitching Blow is in any way that you can negate a card's skills, you could pick that card back up and reuse it. It was very abusable in like Blue Baby, utilizing the Toa that would negate a Overlord's or a Servant skills. So I think if it could go back to you are forced to run a skillless card, I think Bewitching Blow could easily come off the ban list with no issues.
I mean, Blue Baby isn't as powerful as it used to be anymore either. Like, that deck relies on not having cards in the battle area.
Well, my follow-up was Red was a very oppressive deck that had strong defense, and they kind of hit that defense a bit. Is Blue getting that aggro feel approaching too much on being in two different categories?
Well, with the hit to Bean, I mean, they just essentially did the opposite. They just took away Blue Aggro's offensive power instead of Red and their defensive power. So a lot of decks and a lot of blue decks these days aren't really manipulating the energy as much. It's more of ramp strategies. Now, Gohan's going to be able to do that with the lead, obviously, but you don't really see one or the other now. So it's kind of tricky, especially with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Gohan's going to have best of both worlds in a sense, kind of like how Gogeta had best of both.
I think I agree with Nick. I think relegating Bean to defense and removing things like Resolve Renewed and Yamcha from the equation kind of normalize, and Violent Rays normalize the aggro decks. Is like, if you are playing an aggro deck, your deck is designed to move forward. You don't really have the super potent defense or pivoting power that mid-range or control decks have.
I think in the case of Gohan, I think if you're running defensive cards, or a strong defensive package, you're kind of neutering the aggro because you want your gas in your hand because it's all gas, no brakes. I think Gohan does have a very strong floodgate counter, so it does have that already built into the deck. But I feel like if you're running Dirty Burst in the main, or even Dimension Magics in the main, at least with my builds, I completely stray away from running any sort of extra card negate within the list.
I don't think I don't think Dirty Burst should be in the main in that deck because 9 times out of 10 you're tapping every time you get a chance to tap energy to play a card. I just know with the ability with Dimension Magic, you could just potentially spark that, restand 2 energy, and then from that point on, as a blue deck, you're probably pretty safe.
Yeah, extra cards are kind of tricky in Blue Gohan because you want to dump the hand, and with extra cards, especially negates, you can't really do that offensively. So, because you want to maximize your draw output with the leader on the Awakened side, and then drawing 3 is when you have less than 3 cards in hand. So, extra cards are kind of weird in that deck. You want to really have more, like Jimmy said, more gas than anything. Like you can run it minimally. Yeah, you can run it minimally, like maybe 2, 3 at most, but mostly you want to keep battle cards because you want to get rid of them.
Yeah, I do run 2 Bean in my list, just because again it's still a fantastic card, and it's also a card that you can easily dump out of your hand if you want to get your draw. And if it does somehow get stuck in your hand and you get both of them, you can still pitch below 3 to get your ability. So I think that deck is going to be something that you're really going to have to side if you want defense. So I don't think it's overstepping. That's with this set going forward. Maybe once we get more blue archetypes and more blue cards to play with, that could easily change.
Yeah, I forgot about the it's pretty much his draw factor is the draw up to 3 cards. So
and, 2 quick points. We could see things like Barrier of Hope come back, where there are extra cards that you can combo, and even though the effect on that isn't super potent, it does only cost 3 energy, so it is castable in a situation where you're stuck against like a wall of blockers. So it's like a sideboard tech option for that deck. And then if the format shakes out the way I think it's going to, I don't think you're going to need Dirty Burst in the main or like heavy extra cards, because I think, honestly, I think that Sin and Gohan together will kind of push Gogeta into a weird spot in the meta where against the really heavy control decks, like they don't really care to take the 3 damage or play like a super long game. So it's not really going to be the lock that it was. And then Sin and Gohan are just a turn faster in some cases. So it might get pushed into this weird spot where it plays kind of like a yellow deck, like on the outside of like what's going on with the meta right now. And then you don't really need Dirty Burst to play against Red Sin.
I think in the case of Red Gogeta, it's going to have to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to have to step up and also go very aggro, like the other aggro decks. And I think the build that you will see on the channel, the build that Legends topped with, is a much more aggressive deck than the older Gogeta, which almost played like a hybrid of a tempo control and a that could switch into aggro. I think Gogeta either has to go full aggro or it needs to step all the way back and maybe just utilize the leader's draw power and the potency of the 8-drop, and then the rest of the deck is just set to control pieces. Which with Red's base of control, it might be possible, but I don't know if it's going to even be worth playing.
Losing Rays was pretty big.
Yeah. Raze is still a great card against some matchups. If Vegito continues to kind of make waves in the community, and as we get more Goku and Vegeta cards, Vegito's only going to get better. You have to respect Vegito's 30Ks. There's no way around it. You just have to respect them. So Violent is still good in some matchups. It's still a sideboard worthy card, even depending on your local's meta, mainboard it. But I do think that Violent Ray is really shifted red more than a lot of people say it did.
Oh, hands down. Especially when it comes, even though unisons are being slowly knocked out. There's no unisons with a base 30k, right?
No, I don't even think the secret red does. I think it's a base 25.
I think
it is.
yeah. I think
Mira's a base 25. There are unisons that when they
Can
pop
get
their
up there,
effect, they
yeah.
get over 30k, and I think that's what it's kind of for.
yeah, Mira, the Go Hanks, and then
Green
there's you have
Frieza.
Green Frieza that can also get up there as well. But outside that, yeah, like as much as I enjoyed Violent Rays as a prison player, it definitely shifted the way Red's being played right now. Like you have to go back to other routes because you're not as safe anymore.
Yeah, and there more and more strategies are getting in that 20 to 25k range for their pressure pieces. Like look at Yellow Bardock, that all the monkeys are 20ks. So Rays was becoming better and better with the power levels going up on cards. So now they just nipped it in the bud.
Depending on how the power creep goes in this game, we might get to a point where if 20k is just the base, then we'll start seeing more 30ks within the game, and then Violent Ray will almost like reverse bell curve become very good again.
I kind of don't want that to happen because because leaders are naturally just 10 or 15. So if you're getting to a point where a base battle card exceeds the and then again we draw a lot in these decks, maybe that will be a thing.
Yeah.
Decks are drawing more and more cards, so maybe having a higher base may not be a bad thing because you're kind of balancing out the way decks draw. But then when you have decks like the Gohan, like if that deck gets aggroed on, it may not be good for.
Yeah, I think I agree with Jimmy. It really only takes one solid archetype that relies heavily on 30ks or one singular good generic card to be a big 30k dual attack unison or something for Violent Rays to come back into main boards. Like I think it still needs to be inside decks, maybe 2 copies at the most. But yeah, it's one card away from being good again.
As a red player, I've kind of struggled to find my negate base that I like. I feel like every time I play Gogeta, I don't really run negates in Sin, but every time I play Gogeta, I am going back and looking at the board of red negates, and I'm like, okay, I think I need more of this. And then after the next game, I'm like, oh, I don't actually need that. I need more of this. So it's going to be really interesting over the long term to see where Red's negate base shakes out and where the base is. Because it does have a lot of fantastic cards, but nothing that replicates what Violent Rays did for the deck. Because Violent Rays was kind of a be-all, end-all. You put it on the field and then just combo out of the 15ks that they're swinging with.
Yeah. It let Red play like a yellow deck where they could leave up 1 energy and be fine.
Kind of shifting a little bit. You kind of mentioned that in your profile a little bit, just the idea of your negates or your like X cards aren't like set in stone. How did that feel tonight playing? Like, let's not talk about obviously your match with Jake, but just overall, like on the other matchups, because you were like, even your profile, you're like, this probably needs to go up. I'll probably take this one down. Like, where did you feel in that situation?
So you can watch the profile to see the full list of negates, but I found that King Vegeta's imposing presence is very, very, very strong. Even in decks that don't have a lot of swings, just being able to neg 5k is sometimes a game changer. Because we always try to equate value on this channel. So you could pretty much put King Vegeta's imposing presence as it gives your leader card a bean. It's a free bean. Or you could say it forces a card out of your opponent's hands if like I played against Bancroft playing AOD. I didn't get to play King Vegeta's because I didn't draw into it, so spoiler alert, it's going to go up in the list. But in a match where it's all 15ks and 20ks, that essentially is a card out of Bancroft's hand every single swing. It plays almost like a blue baby Gohan in blue. So the value of King Vegeta's imposing presence is so high, especially in a format where Violent Ray is gone. I think the token negates across the board of all colors is really strong. I think they're just as strong in red as they are every other color.
Stronger even, because you get the combo power.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think After Image is a kind of interesting tech in Gogeta, because if your opponent is playing cards with big keyword skills like Triple Strike and Double Strike Critical early in the game, if you're on the front side of your leader, you don't want to necessarily negate because you want to be able to get your auto. So being able to essentially negate an attack and then still follow up a combo is really strong in Gogeta. But across the board, I don't know where After Image stands because I haven't played a lot of red decks outside of Metarildo, Sin, and Gogeta. Is that all you've got as another good option? It can essentially be a triple negate if played correctly, which kind of equates value to Violent Ray because Violent Ray could negate multiple attacks in some way. It doesn't necessarily remove the cards, but that's another option. But I'm still playing around with a lot of stuff. I'm forgetting the name of the negate. It was in the old GT structure deck, I believe, where it just gives your leader card plus 5k a red Saiyan leader card. I have played around with that.
Unending Awakening.
Unending Awakening, yeah. That card paired with the Bean Goku from Gogeta is really, really strong, especially on top of your Secret Rare play and your Black Red Gogeta. You could buff your leader up to like 30k easy. And not a lot of decks are going to get over that. It's essentially Z Awakening in some matchups.
Before we get too far along the video, I just want to remind people that down below there's links and stuff. Click them to there for a reason. They help us out and they help you all out. Give them a look. I'll have a prompt in front of me. I can't read it right now. Shifting, I want to talk more about Jake, do you have something?
I was just gonna say you should just cut one and then just cut it in to all of your videos.
Yeah,
just have
no,
the
I probably
same
should.
Ad.
Do you do any theatrics? I want to do one.
Yeah, you guys ever seen Mother's Basement? How he always does the skits for his G Fuel ads? Like he'll dress up like a wizard or like dress up like a grandmother or something. I don't know.
I want to get us sponsored by TCG Metal so I can do like a wrestling promo for it.
I mean, we can just do one naturally. TCG Metal's good friends of ours. Like, support them. This is sure. Boom. There we go. Make yourself thing, and I'll start plugging it randomly in videos.
That guy laughs and free sponsorships. Free advertising.
Yo, speaking of TCG Metals, this is complete side note. This was not planned. Y'all see that big ass Harunagarn? Y'all see that shit?
No.
Yeah. No, TCG Metals posted on their Facebook page. It looks like plans for like tournament pricing that you can order from the site. It's like a massive, giant, I'm assuming metal Harunagarn leader.
I saw the video. Was that a massive one?
I believe so. He showed a small one next to it, unless I'm losing my fucking mind.
Hang on, I got it going right here. Maybe I'll.
Oh, what else?
Holy crap!
Yeah.
That new.
Well, now you got a screen share.
That new prize support for Nats with that sheet of cards.
Yeah,
you get an uncut sheet. The Magic used to do that.
That is. This is like my nerd talk here. If you stuck through from the beginning of this video and know that I've done card magic for years and years, I have a massive collection of playing cards, and part of that collection is a ton of uncut playing card sheets. And it's one of my favorite things that I own. And after seeing that, it's like it makes me want to go to Nats so bad just to try to win that. And if not, I can't imagine the absurd amount of money that I'm probably going to pay for an uncut sheet of that.
All right, hang on a second.
And if you get real desperate, you can just kind of just X-Acto knife one of the cards out of it.
All right.
He's acting off that guard rare.
So
That's what I'm saying.
So you guys can see, I went ahead and shared my screen. This is
Is this the OG Harudagar?
This is the set 4 Harudagar. So I have it muted obviously because I don't want it's kind of loud in the background. So this is the regular size metal leader that he got, and this is it's like 4 times. Actually,
oh damn.
Yeah, I think it's 400% bigger. Like, that is crazy.
That's wild.
So sick.
Yeah, I might need to hit him up and see which ones he plans on doing besides this one. Just to have like on a shelf or something would be pretty cool, I feel like.
No, you play that shit.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It's like
Use it as a
flopped
mat.
over onto your opponent's mat. That's so disrespectful.
Well, let me awaken real quick and you just mess up the whole Z deck.
Yeah, flip your whole unison upside down.
You just combo the cards on top of it.
But yo, anybody from the Scabbard watching this, our local shop that we love dearly, maybe we'll have a tournament involving one of those once these goes on sale.
I'll be wary, Jimmy. Gonna go super cheap on that day.
Is that right? I bet Nick's gonna play green.
I might just fuck around. You never know.
So I'm on their
Anybody
side.
here been pissing lately?
I'm on their side right now, just kind of looking at it real quick.
Nah, the wells run dry.
Yeah, me too. Been drinking a lot, trying to get it back up. You know.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah, y'all ever drink those body armors?
No.
I got the body armor light because it was tropical coconut, and I fuck on some coconut. And dude, like after every round at the shop, I had to go piss, dude. That thing went through me. I was like a fucking racehorse out there, dude.
It was armoring up your kidneys.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
No, it's definitely not. It tasted good though. I like coconut. It was like pineapple coconut.
Yeah, definitely not a sponsor, and don't think I've ever had it or want to have it after that conversation now.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could drink like another one within like a week.
More or less than me on the way to Gen Con, Jimmy.
Like, oh God. I mean, like yours was more sustained. It was like all at once.
Has that story ever been shared on the channel?
I don't
think so. This would be the place for it.
So, it's me, Jimmy, Jake, and Fluff in a car, and we stop at a rest stop. And I think Jimmy's point of view is the best to give on this.
God damn!
Because you kind of like
I can't tell it because I won't be objective.
So,
because me and Jake get into the bathroom first, and I think Jimmy comes in after.
Yes. So we stop at this rest area, and I'm getting out of the back seat, and I'm stretching. I'm a little cramped up in there. I got big legs, and I'm stretching, taking my time. I check my phone. I waltzed across the parking lot in there, and when I walked in to the bathroom, Jake is pissing in the stall. I can hear it. It is. He's frying chicken in there. I take my time pissing. I go wash my hands. Motherfucker's still pissing in there. I walk out. I go to the vending machine, get a snack, and when I'm walking back to the car, Jake is just walking out, like wringing his hands from the bathroom. And Bear Cross waiting outside. He's like, "How long? How long did you piss?" It was the most sustained, hard, and longest piss I have ever heard in my life.
It was like 2 cups of coffee and a bottle of water, and it just.
I think I gave you like a peanut M&M too. I think that might have done something.
Yeah, that set me off. That one peanut M&M.
Sounds like the piss of a man who's seen some shit.
Yeah.
But Jake, to answer your question, I don't think we matched each other in volume, but I definitely beat you in quantity of trips to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I pissed twice after I got home.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude, that shit it fucked me up.
So I guess I'm like the camel. Like I don't, I'm not going often, but when I do,
The longest pee was 508 seconds. Not physically possible to pee for that long. Wait, what? Hang on.
500.
Someone says 36 minutes and 24 seconds, and this is not like it's supposed to be continuous pee, and I think there is like, I think
Was
that
it held by Austin Powers?
I think that record is the idea of like there has to be like X amount of time between droplets before it's like that's cut off. So I don't think the 36 one will go off of, but if I'm trying to find out, but someone's saying 508 seconds.
What kind of droplets are we talking? Are we talking like leaky faucet, or like moonshine still?
I think the 36-minute is perfect Kegel control.
Yeah,
one
yes.
drop at a time.
I don't think it's to that extent. I think it's more like just continuous like spurts, and it's like, but it definitely
for that.
You don't know how. Just do Kegels, man. All right.
I
14.
threw up once doing that.
Yeah. So yeah,
You're not supposed to hold it.
supposedly, yeah. I think the longest actual like stream though is supposedly 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think it was that long, but
Yeah, it wasn't that
it
long.
was 4 or 5.
It was enough for me to waltz around the parking lot and buy a water.
Yeah,
Which I was scared to drink it after that. Like I thought,
It's contagious.
like I said, me and Jake got in there at the same time. I got out, got a snack, and was waiting at the car before he got out.
and I got there late, and then did the same thing as Bancroft, and he still was pissing.
Told y'all I had to go.
That's where I got a concussion too. I think that's on camera too, where I hit my head on the roof of the car.
From the piss?
Just out of the pure excitement of the piss.
He was like a buoy on the seat in the back seat with me.
I think this might be where we want to just wrap it up. This is not a lot happened this past week, and leaving it off on a pee talk, I feel like it's just good enough. I feel like.
You really think so?
I don't know. We gotta ask Jake though. He's the professional of the group right now.
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up here. I think this stream is finally at its end.
We're journaling.
Well, that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind, there's buttons down below. Click them. They're there for you. So let us know if you enjoyed these segments. I mean, this is literally just what we do after cards naturally. So we decided to start recording it. And I'm just going to toss it out there to you guys. Let's see what happens this time.
Anybody got a piss?
Actually, I'll see you guys later.
Bancroft's pissing for the rest of us. Read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistake.
Wait.
Fluff out.
Y'all know that White Castle has like different cheese options now?
No.
I did not.
Yeah, they were sold out of the Ghost Pepper. I was kind of disappointed. I tried the jalapeno. Jalapeno is pretty good.
Ghost pepper cheese?
All right.
Yeah.
We already wrapped this up, right?
No, we're talking about White Castle.
We did.
No, we didn't. Cut that part out.
Fluff out.